That's where photo ops would be. So if you have a photo op, line up there.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition, your Sunday afternoon edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web here live from the Tampa Card Expo here at the Florida State Fairgrounds. How do we start off this show? This will be a final day here. We're looking forward to getting some guests on here, possibly Nick Anderson of the Orlando Magic, Sam Perkins, Lakers, Supersonics, and then also DJ Lagway, the starting quarterback of the Florida Gators. But how do we start it off? You know them, you love them, you got to have them, so here it is. Bring the passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds. Let me go ahead and get my little lower third up there. There we go, right there. We are good to go, as we will talk with you, as always, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not sure who the co-host is going to be today, so we will take your phone calls as always. And, of course, get you ready for Tampa Bay Buccaneers season, as a mandatory minicamp is coming up on Tuesday. Got a couple of items to talk about, something that's been reported out there. And I guess it follows up with my question for the day. This from Pete Prisco, in care of Joe Bucks fan, talking about Hassan Reddick, because that has been the point of contention when we talk about this team the last couple of weeks. He says they don't care if he's here. I mean, in talking to people in the organization, they don't care one bit. They know he's working out. He's been around a little bit. He just hasn't, taken the OTA days. So there you go. So my question for the day, what do you care about? Because obviously Hassan Reddick, if the Bucks and Jason Line and Baker Mayfield, that organization doesn't care if Hassan Reddick is showing up for OTAs. What do you care about coming into mandatory minicamp on Tuesday? What are you looking forward to? What position battles? What players are you considering? Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as we try to get some guests on. Don't know how long we're going to be on today. Guess it depends on you. If we have multiple phone calls, which it looks like we may stay on for a little bit here. Let me go out to this guy right here. Let's go out to Abraham. Abraham, welcome to the Evolution, my friend. I miss you here today.
Yes.
Hold on. I don't know what's going on here. Stand by.
Right here. I ain't gonna.
There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to make a trip down to Fort Myers, visit family. I'm back up here.
Okay.
But the thing is, I heard about Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
Like I said again, the man was working his butt off in these workouts. It was a private thing.
Right.
That is not mandatory. The key word is it's not mandatory.
Right.
So when it's mandatory, he will show up. Okay, he's a veteran. He knows that. He knows that he needs to have a good year to continue playing. Because he had a down year.
Right.
So he's trying to prove something. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Right.
And he's back. And he's like, the way he's training, man. You're gonna train like that to sit out the season? No. Common sense. They always want to put their own spin onto everything because, unfortunately, the national media just does not want to accept the Bucs as a legitimate franchise that's contending.
That's good. That's a good point. Very good point, Abraham. Very good point.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. Okay, and only the local media sources have better pulse on what's happening in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I don't want to criticize anybody, but either they're just doing this just to get, because they don't know what they're talking about, or they just don't like the Bucs. Period. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, and that's certainly been evident here the last couple of years, right? With this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, it comes down to, some people wanting to be right. Some people saying this team would be 2-3 win team at the time and winning the NFC South. So, and Hassan Reddick it doesn't seem like he's a very liked player. Some people rub a lot of people the wrong way, if you will, with, how he handled that situation with the New York Jets, but he was promised. We don't know what he was promised. If he was promised a new contract, hasn't gotten a new contract, and will have every opportunity to earn a new contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. So I think that's the great thing about all of this. You're getting a guy that not only has been able to do it throughout his career with 59 sacks, so being a double-digit sacker, but a guy that's going to be hungry and going to want to prove something, and that's what it's all about. And if he wants to prove something, he'll have the opportunity with this Buccaneer defense. Not only that, if he does prove himself, he will earn another contract. It either will be in Tampa Bay or will be with somebody else, but he will earn a contract, especially if he balls out. What else, Abraham?
Well, I just got to say is just the national media wants to put their own spin on everything, and only the local media guys have a pulse on what's going on in Tampa. And it's unfortunately, you got people in other parts of the nation, they're talking about the Bucs, and let the local reporters talk about the Bucs. Even I don't care if Jenna laying something because she's an accurate reporter. She's from the area.
Yep.
She works for ESPN.
Yep.
I don't care if it's Peter Report, but it's not coming from Peter Report. It's coming from people, big wigs in the big studios up there, and none of those guys even come to Tampa to talk to the coach or talk to the players. So obviously, Todd Bowles has his players' support, and he has a locker room.
Yes.
So ultimately, if you lose the players, you lose your job.
We learned that this weekend, did we not? I mean, how many times did I ask that question, and I did it on purpose? People go, well, are you part of the Todd Bowles fan club? Maybe to a certain degree, but you're asking players and talking to those players yesterday and Friday, you could clearly see the reason why Todd Bowles is still the coach of this team and why this team has been successful in his tenure as a Bucs coach, because these players believe in playing for him. And that was evident this weekend with all the interviews we did here on the Sports Web.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players appreciate our passion, because a lot of them want some screen time too. They want to get in front of they want to talk about themselves, because that way fans to get to know them better. So I really was happy that we was able to get quite a few of them to talk on our show. That was really great.
Yes.
So yeah,
absolutely.
But you know what? You got plenty of interviews. Don't feel bad about yesterday. I hope you get more today.
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten a chance to. We're gonna play the Levante David and Tristan Wirfs because some people on YouTube missed that. So we're gonna play those interviews and then we're gonna wait. I think I'm gonna take a break on Monday because I'm kind of tired at this point. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna cut some of this stuff up and we'll be back on Wednesday talking about mandatory minicamp. So, what do you care about coming up here for this mandatory minicamp this week? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I want to see the play of the linebackers. I want especially I want to see how the linebacker crew's gelling because I want to, because I believe I want to see how it gels.
Yeah.
And I want to see some of the new guys like Elijah Roberts, who we interviewed, and also Cansey, and who else? Unfortunately, we didn't get Des Watson, but I want to see how these guys gel because we need to integrate. Also, the secondary, I want to see more unity in the secondary. I talked to Tweez about Shiloh. He said, hey, Shiloh's a great kid. I mean, I said, his name is his nickname is Takeaway Tweez, but yeah. So he said, it was really a good conversation I had with these guys, So and also J-Mac, because J-Mac, seems like he's like out with a bench because he's really worked on his upper body strength and he looks really good.
Yeah.
And I told him I hope you have a great year this year.
All right.
You had a really good year.
Well,
so
Abraham, use your second call. We're gonna run. We're gonna go out to Harry the Greek here. He has something to say, so I don't want to make him wait.
Yeah, not a problem.
Call back in. Use that second call if you want to. Let's go out to professional handicapper extraordinaire, Mr. Harry the Greek. Buddy, I miss you out here. It is loud. It is ready to go. This is your type of day. You should be here because all your Florida Gator buddies are here. But besides
I thought you were saying I should be out there because it was loud.
Oh,
that's because it's me. I'm a loud guy.
Well, no. You should be out here anyway it goes because I know you love when it's loud.
Brother, I need some different walk-up music, man.
What? Why?
I don't know. It's just it's too Greek now.
How's your weekend treating you, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay. Just a lot of races going on at Saratoga. It's been a really, really interesting weekend. Saratoga had the 2-horse one, and he's the one that won the Kentucky Derby, and they decided not to run him in the Preakness. And
right.
I'll be honest with you, Pete. I mean, that's the Super Bowl of horse racing, is the Triple Crown, and there's very, very few horses that can do it. And they decided not to let that horse run in the second round of the Triple Crown. And I'm telling you now, I think we would have had another Triple Crown winner this year.
May have. Why are they doing that? But what's the talk on that?
They need to do something with it. I'm never going to agree with PETA and everybody else and how they abuse animals and everything else, but they are a little bit closer together. They should make the races 1 month apart instead of just every couple of weeks. Some horses could barely run once a month, let alone you're asking them to run 3 grueling races against the best athletes in the entire world 3 times in the course of 1 month. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I know you're all over that, so that's disappointing to say the least because you saw the run by that horse, so it's pretty dominant. And every time I talk to you about horse racing, I got to say, I always learn something new. So I'm looking forward to continuing to learn about horse racing and and gambling in general. But I don't know if you watch the Rays game. I know you're not the biggest Rays fan. They're 4 games over 500. It looked like they had the game yesterday, and Florida comes back and they're playing today, but they lose on Evan Longoria Day, 11-10. So there you go. And then, of course, we talked to all the Bucks yesterday, all the Bucks players.
Listen, I was talking to Al Bushman, probably the most knowledgeable guy about the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes,
You
we'll have him
remember
on.
from
Yes,
last week.
we will have him on Wednesday night. We're gonna
And
take off on Monday, by the way. So,
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I told him, and I told everybody out there and all the webheads that this team is playing much better baseball. But don't buy in yet.
don't buy
Give
in.
me a couple more weeks, even the rest of this month.
Right,
If you continue to play that way, now let's take this team as a serious contender.
right.
If they don't, this was the ebbs and flows throughout the course of the year.
I think they're a somewhat serious contender. I still think they have some things to work on, and I'm curious to see if they address those needs at the trading deadline, or if some of the moves they've made with the injuries to Kim coming in and replacing Walls, if that helps the lineup. If
Yeah.
McClanahan getting back into the pitching rotation, if that helps. And then also the other thing that we were you're talking about today, and this, I know how you feel about it, but I got to kind of nudge you a little bit here. This is from Pete Prisco and care of Joe Buck's fan friends there. We've had Ira Kaufman on before, and Rock Riley both work for that platform. This was from Prisco. He says they don't care being the Bucks, because Prisco said he talked to Baker Mayfield and Jason Light. They don't care if he's for the OTAs. I mean, he's talking to people in the organization. They don't care one bit if he's showing up for 8 OTAs, and this would be Hassan Reddick. They know he's working out. He's been around a little bit. He just hasn't taken part in the OTAs. Of course, mandatory spending camp is on Tuesday. So the Bucks don't care about Reddick. Should we care about Reddick? I say you care about Reddick if he doesn't show up on Tuesday, and I would fully expect him to do that. I know how you feel about Reddick in the optics
No,
of the
I
situation.
had changed my mind, Pete.
Okay.
I had changed my mind after speaking to a couple of people about it. I'm allowed to do that.
Absolutely.
But you just said something that just set me off again. And this is where I think you need to put your antennas up.
Sure. Put them up.
Jason Light and the Tampa Bay organization has been very, very, very good at making sure fires don't ever leave the locker room. They do their best. Wouldn't you say?
I would say that. I think that's what they're
be
very
cautious when you say they don't care, meaning we don't care if he shows up. When a team says that, Peter, typically that's a sign of laziness. Okay? And it's complacency. This team has played so much better under the fire and ruling of all the pundits across the country going, New Orleans is going to be a better team this year. Tampa can't win a division. They can't win more than 5 games year after year after year after year, but yet the Buccaneers continue to exceed expectations.
Correct.
And in any of those 5 or the past 6 years, have you ever heard the management of the Buccaneers say, we don't care if he shows up?
Yeah, no, I've never heard it. I've never heard that. The only time I really
put your antennas up.
Well, the only time I really heard them not say much or be quiet on a situation, act like they don't care, was the Antonio Brown situation when Tom Brady was here. But I think even then, behind closed doors, they cared. Bruce Arians cared. And they showed once he showed his ass and he basically quit on this team, they cared a lot by releasing him, never bringing him back to the organization again. So when you're exactly right. I don't know what to make of these comments.
Right.
I
you got to look at the comments,
right,
and don't listen to what the comments say. You got to hear what the comments say.
Right. So that's the question of the day. What do you care about mandatory minicamp on Tuesday? Because we've been talking about the position battles. We've been talking about everything else under the sun when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People will talk about linebacker. We talked to the great Levante David. He has been talking nothing but Savasier Dennis. I believe he's the X factor of this defense. I think there's a reason why the Bucs didn't draft somebody as a linebacker, because they really liked this kid. And when he was on the field, this defense was different. I'm looking forward to seeing that linebacking battle. I'm looking forward to seeing Savasier Dennis take that next step to be the starting linebacker to solidify that defense, especially in the middle, because it was one of their weakest points last year. What are you looking forward or what do you care about, if you will, when it comes to mandatory minicamp this week?
Well, I got to tell you, Peter, I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago, I'll leave him nameless, we had an ignorant caller call up and actually state, quote unquote, that Savasier Dennis was a liability to this defense. And if you remember correctly, I kind of went a little ape crap crazy on that, going, are you crazy? Mm-hmm. Has anybody seen this guy play when he's on the field?
Well, when he the small body of work, when he plays on the field, this defense is different.
Well, the defense is not a little different. It's a lot different.
Right.
Look, Peter, I don't have any real set on what I want to see with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
You know, what I actually care about, the whole 9 yards that we're talking about, to be honest with you. Okay, and I'm not trying to make light of it.
No.
I just think this team is whole. I think we need to be more concerned about what the comments were made by the general manager and the management of this team. I think this team is very, very capable of playing it. Yeah. Going deep into the playoffs, if not going to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But you got to be careful. When you start to get a little complacent with the way you're speaking about your players, that rubs off into the locker room, and then all of a sudden you have teams that fall apart. Like, who was supposed to be the juggernaut in the NFC last year? Come on, quick. Who was it?
The juggernaut was supposed to be
come on.
Well, it was I thought it was going to be the Detroit Lions were the
Nope. Who was supposed to be the juggernaut in the NFC? Wasn't Detroit, Pete.
I don't know.
It was the San Francisco 49ers.
You're right. It was the 49ers.
And where'd they go?
And they went nowhere.
Injuries, complacency.
Correct.
We understand, but, he doesn't need to play. We got it this week. When you have management and ownership and everybody doing that, that's what happens to your ball club. Yeah. So I'd be more concerned about the comments that were made than anything.
Yeah.
But you know what? That could be all for naught. Hopefully everybody shows up and everybody wants to participate.
I agree. I completely agree, and it's all for naught. But if he doesn't show up on Tuesday, then we definitely have some talking points on Wednesday night, man. Well, how do you see this team? Well, what's right now? How does Vegas view the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'm going to continue to ask you this throughout the season, but what's the win total? What's the consistent win total across the board here, Harry the Greek?
Yeah, honestly, man, it's between 7 and 9 wins.
Okay,
that's all I've seen so far.
Okay.
There's a couple of small sites that got them over 10 wins. That's just because too many people have bought on the over on the game. It's just I don't really get too involved in proposition bets.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you some more clarity on that probably the closer the season comes.
Okay.
And then I will give you what I think, what teams you can bet the over.
Where do you lie? Where do you lie on this team? Because I know you're high on Carolina, and there are some national media pundits out there that are following your lead. In fact, Fox Sports has written that they believe Carolina could be the surprise team in the NFC South, even going as far as to winning the NFC South. So what's your win total as Eminem's Lose Yourself plays in the back? If you can't get pumped up when you're broadcasting a sports talk show with Eminem in the back, then I don't know what you're doing. Eminem with Lose Yourself. I love that song. It pumps me up.
That's actually a really good song. I did a couple of interviews with Fox Sports, Peter.
Okay.
And we were talking about that. And this was about a month and a half ago. And I was talking about the probabilities, teams that can come from zeros to heroes.
Right.
Is what the segment was about. And Carolina was really touting very well. This team has the capability of becoming very good. I'm not saying because they have the knockout quarterback, but he's definitely going to be playing a lot better. The running game is going to get better. The defense is going to be there. They're going to be able to block from, and they're going to sneak up on some teams.
Yeah.
It happens every year. There's 3 or 4 clubs that fall, and there's 3 or 4 clubs that rise.
Yeah.
And that's one of my big risers. So where do I have Tampa Bay? I have Tampa Bay. They should be able to win this division. They should,
right.
And how many games are they going to win? I don't know. I didn't dissect it all yet.
I said 12. I said 12-5. Is that too optimistic, or is that realistic in your opinion?
That's anytime you pick 12 wins, you should be picking 12 wins on teams that are super juggernauts, like from the past couple of years. Like, let's just say going into last season, you should have said that the Detroit Lions were going to be a 12-win team. Okay. Tampa was not a juggernaut. Tampa got into the playoffs in a very weak division. They played very well, and then they ended up losing to Detroit. So to be as optimistic as 12 wins minimum, Washington. That's a problem. Yeah, I did that already once. with you, and I think I said 10 to 12 wins, wasn't it last year?
Well, you listen.
Okay,
They
I
lose.
never try to go more than 10 wins.
I will
if you're
say
10
this.
wins, you're a playoff team.
I would say this, and I think being safe is 10-7. I think the majority of the fan base I've seen is 10 wins. I say 12 because if they could stay healthy, and again, knock on wood, that's a big thing with this Buccaneer team, and it has been a Bucs thing with this team. And by the way, we got Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, co-host of the Evolution on the phone here. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. They beat Detroit. They beat Washington early. Of course, they lose to them in the playoffs. They beat Philadelphia in dominating fashion. That's the Super Bowl champion. And I feel like they gave Kansas City everything they can handle. If this team is healthy,
and then they laid an egg. Hold on, and then you can say that 100 times.
Yeah.
Every week the NFL changes.
Correct.
Okay. Just like baseball, every week the NFL changes.
Yes.
Catching this team at the right time or not.
Yes.
And then they laid an egg against a team like the Denver Broncos, who really were not that good at that time.
That's
then they
true.
went on a roll after beating Tampa Bay.
True.
It's all about the momentum.
Yes.
Here, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm
all
going to
about
tell
the
you
mo.
they have a minimum of 4 wins because they beat Atlanta and New Orleans twice.
Right.
Take that to the bank.
Okay.
Atlanta's not going to be that much of a problem. New Orleans is going to play Tampa tougher, even though they're absolutely dismal this year, than Atlanta will.
Right.
Okay. Carolina, I see them 1-1. I don't see them sweeping them. So let's just say they got 5 wins just out of their division.
Right.
I'm sure you can pick up another 5 wins along the way somewhere else.
Well, of course you can.
Okay.
So
that's why I always like to say it's always safe to say 10 wins, because if you only win 8, you were close.
Right.
If you win 12, it's better than expected.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And for people that gamble out there, never, ever, ever bet over on proposition bets when the win total is over 10.
Okay.
Ever.
Never bet that. Why don't you do
look
that?
for the low-hanging fruit for the teams that weren't that good last year that have a chance. You know, the ones that Vegas is picking at 3 and 4 games?
Right.
Those are the ones you want to come out of the gates and do something with. Don't bet just to be a fanboy. You bet to make money.
That's it. So what's your surest thing? Because I know there's never a sure thing when it comes to betting. What's your sure thing coming through the NFL this year? Is it Saquon Barkley not having 2,000 yards? Is that a prop bet out there? Because there's never been a running back that's been able to do that. So
I don't know, Pete. Honestly, I'm not the one that usually does the proposition bets, although I've been stuck doing a couple a year, and I've been pretty blessed the past couple of years. I've won the last 2 years with the Buccaneers winning the division. It was kind of a sweat again last year. But it paid me almost 4 to 1 of my money, if you remember correctly.
Yep.
It was like a gift, and those are the things that I look for. But if I got Tampa at even money to win a division,
sure,
I'm going to allocate my funds someplace where I can actually make money rather than just doubling up.
Okay.
So is there a sure thing? I'm not going to have anything right now, but the only third sure thing I can say: always keep your bets low and your returns high. Those are the sure things.
All
if
right.
you keep your bets low and your returns are high, they'll always come out on the end.
All right, my friend. I appreciate the call. As always, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. We miss you. We'll see you soon, my friend. All right?
Pete, get some good interviews out there. Proud of what you're doing out there. It looks like it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is.
And we'll talk soon, brother, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
And go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Go Bucks.
Wait up, no boy. Stop. Wait up.
Go Bucks. It is exciting. Go Bucks.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucks. As I got some of my stuff here that's a little bit further away. There you go. So open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you care about when it comes to mandatory minicamp on Tuesday? What are you looking forward to? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to, I guess we're going to go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Abraham using your second call. Abraham, what's on your mind? Welcome back.
Yeah, I was listening to Harry the Greek, and I think he does have a point, because Carolina did play Tampa really tough at that one game
Yep.
at home. Was it at home at Carolina?
Well, it was on the road. It was on the road. That's a very exciting game. It went to
Yeah. That was a cliffhanger, and that just gave me a sign of what Carolina's going to be this year. Plus, they did really well in their draft, and yes, I think Carolina is a serious contender for that division. And yes, I'm going to be like I'm right with Harry the Greek. This man knows his stuff, especially as far as betting. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
But I would say 10 is reasonable because you don't want to place unrealistic expectations and then we get disappointed.
Right.
If you predict 10 and then they win more, then you say, hey, you don't feel that bad about it. If you like say 12 or 13 and then they don't and then they underperform, it's gonna be a big disappointment. So I'll keep it at 10.
Okay.
But I say like every year they grew like from Top Wars first year they were 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
They could have won that Atlanta game. I mean they could have been actually 9 and 8.
Right.
Then last year they were in a big hole. I mean the year after that they were in a big hole. They became 9 and 8. I mean they dug themselves out of the hole. Last year again they dug themselves in the big hole. Then they dug themselves out.
Right.
So it was like a roller coaster. But they won every year. They at least won one more game than the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean. I would say it's a steady trajectory, but I just think that this year, I was undervalued, but hopefully they will overperform. So I'll just say 10 to be safe, but hopefully they can win at least a couple more than 10.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple more than 10. All right. So how many more couple more than 10?
I'll be right with you about two more because just to be safe. Okay. Because there are some tough games, okay? I mean Detroit, you got Detroit. I don't know how much. How much Philly looks like a strong team last year. There's a few games that are very tricky. Even the Arizona game can be tricky because some teams they will take lightly and they will like last year the Broncos. They slept on the Broncos. And the Broncos were a really solid team.
Yes.
And
playoff team.
Yeah. So. Yes. Yeah, so I just hopefully, they don't sleep on anybody. This year they take just one game at a time. And you know what? Tomorrow's another game. I don't want to see them get themselves in a big hole and try to dig themselves out of a hole like they did the last 2 years.
Agree, completely agree. Were the Broncos a playoff team, or did they got close to being a playoff team? But they were
Arizona?
No, Broncos. Were they a playoff team last year?
I think they made the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure they did make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, everything's like a blur now. Like,
well, yeah, and then at the time of it, they were, nobody thought anything of them because they had Bo Nix as their rookie quarterback. So you weren't thinking, they're going to be, but that's the National Football League. Harry's exactly right. If you don't play your game, if you don't take them seriously, then somebody's going to beat your ass. Excuse my language.
I wonder how much of a factor KJ Britt was in it because they were attacking that side of the thing. And I don't know if Harry was making a reference to me about me talking about survival. I'm not downplaying him, but the guy has been hurt the last 2 years. So that's a big concern. If he's hurt, he's hurt. And the game is different when he's there, but then we need him healthy the whole year. That's what I've been trying to say over and over again. We need a healthy Servassier Dennis. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not downplaying Servassier Dennis's ability. It's just that
he gets
injured.
They didn't make the playoffs. So yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's all my concern is that his injury. That's his injury history. I mean, Jamel Dean's had a history of injuries, and it's like it was not pretty seeing him being hurt in that game against Washington, and then Josh Hayes being exploited. Yeah. Even Thunderbird being exploited. So I'm happy with the draft picks. I just hope that the team stays healthy. That's it. But overall, the team stays healthy. That's all my concern.
All right, my friend, you got the Gators. You got the Gator, the song being played in the background as Florida Gators walk through here. DJ Legway, Tank Hawkins, DeBron Hampton, right there. They're walking through, so maybe we'll try to get them on here on the Evolution. Abraham, appreciate it.
Say hello to DJ UPS and our other buddies over there. Sorry I couldn't be there today.
Will do, my friend. I appreciate you, okay?
All right, later.
Bye. All right, good stuff. Open phone line, 727-255-5228. 0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll go back out to these comments as everybody wants to talk about the Bucks as always, and that's what we do here on the Evolution. Hey, Peter Blake says Christopher Cole. Hey to you.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go out to Abraham again. Hey, Peter, can't make it today. Sorry, it was fun the last 2 days. Absolutely. Thank you for your contributions to the show. We can't wait for Bucks season. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Wait up, no, boy. Wait up.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucks. All right, let's go out to Christopher O'Reilly. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah.
Let's go out to the future agent of the show, my beautiful mother, which, by the way, she is a big-time Bucky Irving fan, so we will try to get her. I'm going to try to get her something that's signed by Bucky Irving, who was here yesterday signing everything. I do apologize again. We weren't able to get him on. But we'll see what we can do for you, Mom, right there. Watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web. Go Bucks and go Rays.
Wait up, no, boy.
Yes.
Wait up.
Go. Absolutely.
How
Go.
about them Bucks, baby?
Go. All right, good stuff there. Christopher Cole. Bowles expects everyone to be there, possibly Godwin too. I don't think Godwin's going to be there. I don't think he's going to be 100% yet. We'll see. I definitely know that Bowles expects everybody there because it is mandatory. I think they're going to take their time with Godwin. He's got to be 100%. You don't want to have another injury, which is why you got that insurance policy and drafting Emeka Ibuka in the first place. So you don't have to rush Chris Godwin back to the fold. Let's go out to, and we're on YouTube today. So hopefully the Wi-Fi is cooperating. We're doing the best that we can here. We'll play some of the interviews here, YouTube, that you missed with Devontae David and, of course, Tristan Morris. Hi, Peter. Hi, Greek. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Wait up, no, boy. Wait up.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucks. All right, thank you, Realtor David Zuzman right there. Pitch Grid Pod. How's it going, my dude? It is going great here. Another day of breathing, another day of sports talk here live from the Tampa Card Expo at the Florida State Fairgrounds. You got to love it. As you can hear, DJ UPS pumping the crowd up again. Amazing content per usual. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really do. It's fans like you that give us the opportunity to do shows like this. This is the reason why we go Friday. This is the reason why we go Saturday. This is the reason why we go Sunday. And the reason why I'm taking off on Monday, because I deserve it. And then we'll be back on Wednesday night. But we do this for you guys out there to interview Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got lots of interviews. Elijah Roberts yesterday. And, of course, Antoine Winfield Jr. came on the show. And we had the great Brad Johnson. And not Bucks worthy, but baseball worthy, sports worthy, Jose Canseco. I mean, so much good stuff happened this weekend. We're wrapping it up today. So appreciate you, Pitch Grid Pod. Let's go out to David Zuzman. The issue I see with Hassan Reddick is his obvious production drop last year. Yes, he didn't play many games, but he was also a non-factor in the games he did. He's no spring chicken. Very, absolutely correct. If you see the videos there, he looks good. But I just don't think he was interested in playing for the Jets. And when he was promised a new contract, he decided to hold out. That throws off all your timing at that point. That throws off everything. Didn't want to be a part of the organization. So we'll see. But I think he'll be ready to go. He's done it in the past. He's done it before. And he'll be extra motivated because he wants to earn that second contract. So definitely understand your concern on that. Pitch Grid Pod. What's the strongest position on defense? For me, I think the strongest position on defense at this point is your pass rush with Hassan Reddick doing it. Just talking about him, extra motivated there with Yaya Diaby and of course, Kalijah Cansey, who we also talked to yesterday on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, Vita Vea, and what they added in the draft with, of course, the aforementioned Roberts and David Walker there. I definitely think that you're going to have some better pass rush. And that's what you're going to look for. That's where you're going to have to see those numbers. You're going to have to see that consistency when it comes to pass rush, because it's all predicated on the pass rush up front. You get after the quarterback, it makes it easier for that back end when it comes to linebackers, and it makes it easier for that young secondary, which I think you could also make a case that's improved, even though we're not sure about what these kids are going to bring in Parrish and Morrison, especially Morrison. Will he be 100%? Will he healthy? Will he be healthy? I trust Jason Light. I trust this process that they know they went through the medicals, so he's going to push Jamel Dean. I think that has also improved. We talked to Antoine Winfield Jr. He was excited about Tyke Smith. He was injured last year. Wasn't the same safety. So I think you put both of those positions at the end of the day. I think both of those are the strongest leading into the pass rush more than anything else. So good question, Pitch Grid. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out to Pitch Grid again. Reddick is definitely getting up there for sure. I'm guessing they're trying to reset for the Super Bowl defense. I like it. I like it a lot. What's up, Peter Blake? What's going on with you? Let's go out to realtor David Zuzman right there. Our strongest defense player is Vita Bea. We have no subs that can play his role. And that's where Desmond Watson comes in. How much of an impact can he make? I saw the big man yesterday. He's tough to miss. So if he can get his weight down, and I definitely think that's the plan for the Bucs, he can get his weight down, I think he'll be a big-time part in this defensive line rotation for them. Pitch Grid Pod, I mean, no one can replicate Bea. You really can't. We passed on some DL in the draft that could be important DL depth this season. Roberts can play inside. Again, we talked about that with him yesterday. What did he prefer? He didn't care. But he can play inside. So there's your depth right there. You still have Gaines on this team. There's still a possibility if they want to. I'm sure they could sign William Golston and go with him. So it's always fluid. Like they have cap. This roster is still fluid. There is still time to add pieces. It's not the end of the world. You can still add pieces to this roster at this point. Those comments were taken out of context. I don't know what comments you're talking about. David Zuzman, I think the Falcons will win the NFC South this year. Why do you think that? Call in 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Of course, the Falcons did sweep the Bucs last year, but will not able to win the NFC South. I think we will win between 9 and 10 games this year. David Zuzman says no team stays healthy. That's why your depth is important. We have injuries. I hope it won't be position groups that we're already short on. Where do you think these position groups they're short on at this point? You said defensive line. Is there any other positions? And then that's the reason why, again, you double dip in the draft and you get two corners there. DJ UPS in the house. Jamie in the house. Hi, guys. DJ UPS. All right, we'll get an update from him. We'll see what's going on. That's why everyone said last year, Realtor David Zuzman. I didn't say that last year. I said 10 to 11 games last year. Thought we were going to win the division. What has changed, David? Barkley will have the Madden curse. See, that's where I'm going. That's what I say, too. If you're a Madden player, you know this all too well. Like, I don't ever hope for a Bucs player to be on the cover of Madden because the Madden curse follows. So I think that, and it's tough for a running back, right? So the kind of year that Saquon Barkley had for the Philadelphia Eagles, it's tough to replicate that or duplicate that, if you will, again, and stay healthy. And I think also it exists for the Philadelphia Eagles where they could have, a Super Bowl hangover at this point. Let's go out to Raina there. Go Pirate Pete. Appreciate you. Right there. Let's go out to David Zuzman. The Madden curse is real. That it is. Pitch Grid Pod. Madden curse is so fascinating, right? Christopher Cole. Falcons will Falcon. I like that. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Let's go out to Cole here. Mr. Greek. Always fun to see you, Peter. You're doing a great job, buddy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. As always, let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! Good stuff right there. Let's go out to Sitton. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucks. Hey. All right, there we go. In the 50th season, by the way, did you know they're playing the Seahawks this year? I believe it's October 5th on the road, and it's also the Seahawks 50th season. So are we going to see throwbacks that game on the road? When are those throwbacks coming out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We shall see. David Zuzman, I hope the Falcons will falcon. And Christopher Cole, Bucks have a ton of depth across the board besides OT. So, yes, we do want you on the show. Can you hear that in the back? Yes, get on the show. That's right. I want to debate. I don't always want to debate. You know, I'm not like a Stephen A. Smith or whatever. By the way, that song is in the background. That's offending a lot of people. Whoever's doing that dance. Anyway, yeah, I'm not always looking to debate somebody. But if you like to debate me on what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do this year, feel free to call up the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. What do you care about going into this week? What's the deal? Of course, mandatory minicamp coming up on Tuesday, where everyone should show up. And the reason why we asked this question is because it follows the report from Pete Briscoe saying they don't really care, referring to Hassan Reddick showing up to OTAs, which has been the talk of the town here the last couple of weeks, with Reddick not showing up and saying, oh, same old guy, the same old guy that held out last year. I get it, not a great optic. But right here from this report, the Bucs organization doesn't care if he shows up for OTAs as long as he's there for mandatory minicamp. Just paraphrasing at this point, he has been around the building. He has been working out. So don't stress about something that you can't do anything about, or it really doesn't matter at this point. Tell you what, I want to play this interview. I don't know if you guys have seen it on, I think you guys have seen it on Facebook. We'll play it again. I want to go out to Levante David, 11-minute interview. We're expecting some guests here. If we don't get any guests, we'll end it off for the night or end it off for the day. A great weekend, but we're expecting Nick Anderson from the Orlando Magic. We could have DJ Lagway, the starting quarterback of the Florida Gators. But until then, let's go out to the great Levante David. He sat down with me here on Friday night, in case you guys missed it. I know you did. On YouTube, we didn't get a chance to play it, but here is Levante David talking on the evolution of sports talk television. Enjoy. All right, go ahead, put those headphones on, my friend. We've been waiting for you. We talked to your buddy there, Tristan Wirfs. Levante David, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. Great to meet you. And let's just talk about it. Coming back for your 14th season, man. How does it feel to once again be a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2025? Welcome to the evolution.
Man, it feels great. I won't want to be any other place. You know, Tampa's been real good to me and my family, and I'm glad to give them another year.
Another year.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, there's an excitement here, and there's also a lot of talk, and it's just not fans that talk on this show and Bucs Nation, the crew itself, but there's like a bad taste in everybody's mouth because they feel you guys feel like you should have did more in that losing to the Commanders in the first round. Is that what you sense? Is that what it is here? We hear Baker, we hear Tristan.
Yeah.
Is it a bad taste in your mouth?
It definitely is. Me personally, I've been talking about it a lot. Definitely a bad taste in our mouth. Definitely a game we felt like we should have won. Definitely a season we felt like we could have got to the Super Bowl with the team that we had. And then just adding the pieces to the unit that we have now, I think we could do it again. But man, we just gotta focus on us and take care of the little things, and not beat ourselves, and just handle what we need to handle, because we definitely are capable of going to the top.
When did you make the decision? Because we heard Todd Bowles say you were kind of trying to think about it. When did you know you were coming back? Because we watched you on film last year.
Yeah.
Got an opportunity to watch you from the press box. I represent the JP Peterson show along with the Sports Web, and you're still playing at an elite level, my friend. First, how do you do that? Is it a Tom Brady method? Is that Tom Brady method? Is that what you're taking from there? How are you still playing at an elite level? And when did you make that decision that you were going to come back to the Bucs in 2025?
I would say just the glory of God, the grace of God, keeping me healthy throughout these years, and keeping my body upright, and keeping my mind focused, and taking care of the little things that I need to take care of. And the second part of the question, when I decided, it's probably, let me see, when the season ended, January, I probably decided about like in right before maybe right before free agency and stuff started.
Yeah.
That's when I decided because me and the Bucks were very transparent, throughout the whole process. Soon as the season ended, they made it clear that they wanted me to come back. And from that right there, that had it on my mind, but then again, I had to, just sit down and just feel like how, kind of see how I feel body wise and how I am mentally and, check in with my family and stuff like that. And, everybody else gave me the green light to say, might as well do it again. And, there was no doubt in my mind that I was coming back to Tampa because, Jason and the staff, they wanted me back. So that was the extra push for my decision.
You talk about Jason Line. I think he's the best general manager in the game, in my opinion, what he's been able to do in the last 5 to 7 years. It's been amazing to keep, the core talent here. Talk about the impact of Jason Line. All right, guys, let's come back here. We got a special guest, and one of my favorites. And I grew up as a Magic fan here. I'm just moving just a little bit there. Nick Anderson. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend, as you're live here at the Florida State Fairgrounds at the Tampa Card Expo. What's going on, my friend? Longtime fan, absolutely. How you doing?
I'm all right. A little jet lag. I just got in late last night from Brazil.
Okay.
I had something going on for the team in the NBA in Brazil. I had a great time out there, but I'm also here, and I had a great time here.
All right. Well, let's get a little bit because I want everybody to hear you there. Yeah. Listen, we're talking. We talk about the Orlando Magic on this show. Where do you see this Magic team? You have Ben Caro, you have Wagner there. Jalen Suggs is not able to stay healthy, but he's considered to be a superstar in the making there. How do you see this Magic team? What should they do, in your opinion? If Nick Anderson were the GM or the Orlando Magic, what would you do?
It's only one thing I would do is make sure they stay healthy.
Right.
As you know, at the beginning of the season, we had Ben Caro go down real early, and then followed by Wagner. And later in the season, Jalen Suggs went down. I think that whatever little tweaks if they make some tweaks, I know there'll be good tweaks. But if this team can stay healthy, they can compete with anybody in the league.
I agree. And they show that the last 2 years they gave Cleveland everything they could handle. The Boston Celtics, of course, were on the Sports Web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the great Nick Anderson, Orlando Magic. They did. Is it a time where, and I kind of was thinking about this morning, this is what I think, because I'm going to talk to the great Nick Anderson. And you guys, you had Shaq, you had Penny Hardaway. You got to a point where you couldn't necessarily get over the top. And then you go out and get Horace Grant. Do you feel like it's at that point where you make a big move? Talk has been about possibly the kid Trae Young from Atlanta, possibly LaMelo from Charlotte, possibly a guy like Kevin Durant could be on there. Even a Giannis, because there is a connection between Weltman, who runs that Magic organization. Is it time for them to make a move, in your opinion?
Well, again, I always talk about the first thing I have to go back to this, guys staying healthy. And if they're going to make some tweaks, I'm pretty sure those tweaks are going to be to help this team. I don't know those names that you mentioned. All those names and all those players are great players, but I really don't take heed to it. I'll believe it when I see it. We can talk about anything, but if there's going to be moves made, I'll believe it when I see it.
Talk about Ben Caro. How talented do you think this kid is?
He's special. He's a kid that, if you see the body on this kid, he's chiseled. The strength of him at 6'10", he does multiple things. Can bring the ball up, shoot the three, get on the post. Something I would like to see him do a little bit more. Personally, as a big and as fundamentally sound as he is, I think if he can get on that post, I don't think anybody can handle him. So if he can add a little bit more of that to this game, but he's very talented. But you know what I like more about this kid than anything?
What's that?
He's coachable.
Right. You don't see that in the NBA these days. You don't see that a lot. Why do you think that is? Talk about this NBA culture now. I don't want to poo-poo on it, right? Because I don't want to be like the old man, get off my grass. But there are guys out there who say during your day you couldn't play with these guys now. what do you say to that? And why are the NBA players so have that attitude where some of them are uncoachable, if you will?
Well, me personally, I don't know how anybody else feel about this, but I think it starts at an early age. AAU has a lot to do with it.
Right.
When you don't really coach these kids and keep them fundamentally sound, you just let them go out and do anything that they want to do.
Yeah.
And they have that mentality now that you can't tell me anything.
Right.
And I think we're missing that. We're missing fundamental basketball.
Right.
Players being fundamentally sound. You probably heard this, and I know it's been said, it's circulating around that, you know, you talk about European players.
Mm-hmm.
They are fundamentally sound. You know, we're more athletic than them. Could you imagine combining the two of those things right there? What type of player that you could have?
Right.
So I say to these young men out here that and young ladies that are playing the game of basketball, become fundamentally sound.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to do, my dad always told me, be able to do a little bit of everything.
Right.
Be able to play on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
Just don't be that guy that he just offensive minded.
Right.
Minded. He can't play defense. He can't rebound. All he want to do is get up 30, 40 shots. Don't be that player.
Not Dirk Nowitzki, but Luka. Is that the opinion? It seems like it's the opinion around the league. He's not necessarily in shape. He can't play defense. Do you feel like, Nick, in order to take his game to the next level, he has to have that commitment to play defense, or he's just another player?
No question. You have to be committed.
Okay.
You have to not only be committed to playing defense, you have to be committed to the game.
Right.
Once you become a professional, this is every day, all day. This isn't sometime.
Yeah.
You can't show up sometime. And, you know, the young guys and young ladies, you want to become one of the best that ever laced them up and played the game. You got to be committed on both sides of the ball. And I'm going to use this guy as an example.
Sure.
I love him, what he did for the game, how he played the game, how he approached. You could be at home, sleep at 4 a.m., he's in the gym. And that's Kobe Bryant.
Right.
If you want to emulate somebody at the work ethic, emulate Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Yeah, the Black Mamba. Would you rank him? Because we're always doing rankings when it comes to sports talk. We do this on my show. It's always Jordan and LeBron. I always think it's Jordan, Kobe, and then LeBron.
I'll take that just like that.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Because some people would have a problem with that because they would say LeBron, you know, in longevity, what he's done, scoring record, everything like that. And to me, I would say Jordan is the best. Kobe's right there, right on the doorstep with championships and just level of play, just killer instincts. Is that fair?
That's fair. You know, I would never take away from what LeBron James has done for this game.
Right.
He and still is at
Yes.
his tender age of 40. That the things that he can do.
Right.
Let's respect the game.
Okay.
And he's presented himself the way that you want someone to present themselves.
Right.
We can go back to his 18 years of age, how he started out, and look how he's finished.
Mm-hmm.
The level hasn't dropped off as much as you would think.
Right.
He's just a phenomenal player. I respect him as a player. I respect him as a person.
Okay. All right, Nick Anderson, former Orlando Magic here. You shot from three a lot. The game has changed. It's not necessarily two-pointers, mid-range jump shot, physicality, defensively. It's all about shooting the three. If you were in your prime, when you were shooting threes for the Orlando Magic and scoring all those points, could you play in this game today? Because it is so conducive of being able to shoot the three instead of mid-range. Is that fair?
No question. I think I can play in this era because all you want me to do is shoot threes.
That's it. You don't even have to play defense, really, right?
If you want me to stand in the corner at the top of the key, wherever you want me, and I get my point guard penetrating the defense collapse, and I'm shooting the three wide open,
yeah,
I expect to knock it down, and you expect for me to knock it down.
Right.
So if that's all you want me to do, I have to say yes.
Right. You had to do more in your day.
Yeah. But I predicated. I like to start my game off playing good defense.
Right.
You know, the guys that I faced night in and night out, they were not pushovers.
Right.
The Jordans, the Reggie Millers, the Clyde Drexlers, I can go on and on. The Joe Dumars.
Sure.
You know, even at small forwards that I had to guard. So my job was tough night in and night out. And then I played on the offensive end too.
Right.
I can score the basketball on that side. So I would say I could.
Okay. Good. So let's talk about your playing career with the Orlando Magic. You know, you had a team there, Shaq, Penny. You get as far as the finals there versus the Houston Rockets. I mean, talk about that team. You go out and get Horace Grant. That seems like it was the big-time key piece. That's why I talked about the Magic at the first, but maybe they're looking for that key piece. But talk about your playing career with playing with those players and Penny and Shaq.
Well, Shaq is obvious. You know, I use this quote that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said. He's a unmovable object.
Yeah.
In Shaquille O'Neal, what he brought to the game, and I love those early days. See, a lot of people, especially the young generation,
yes, they
didn't see the Shaq that can get down the floor and beat a point guard down the floor,
run the ball all the way back down. Yes,
I can remember when he touched the top of the square, getting rebounds, blocking shots, aggressive in the paint. I remember that Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes,
did everything. And just for the game and how he approached the game, you just couldn't do anything with him. Not one-on-one.
Yeah.
You had problems one-on-one with Shaquille O'Neal. But a guy that I hate that he got hurt, and that's Penny Hardaway, because I don't think we didn't get the chance to see the full potential.
Is that Kobe before Kobe?
I would say so. I mean, a guy that can do it inside, outside, can pass the ball. You know, he was always compared to Magic Johnson with his passing at 6'7.5", 6'8".
Yep.
His athleticism, 41-inch vertical, did it all. Just can play defense. He's a guy that I told you, he can play defense and he can score. So
yeah.
I like those players that play on both sides of the ball. And I'm gonna use this guy, and he's kind of slowed down. A lot of people forgot about a young Kawhi Leonard.
Absolutely. How could you forget about him? Because he can play defense, he can shut you down, he can also score. And if he could stay healthy, Nick, of course he's one of the top players in the NBA. Like what you said, you're multifaceted. You got to be able to have both sides of your game to do that. That's what makes you dangerous. Again, we're on with Nick Anderson, the Orlando Magic. Love talking to this guy, drafted out of Illinois with 1990, first-round pick.
Yeah, first-round pick out of University of Illinois. I'm a Chicago kid.
Yep.
Simeon High School. And I have to talk about this. You know, the young guys that came after me from my high school in Chicago. My son and Derrick Rose were high school teammates.
Okay.
Jabari Parker.
Very nice.
Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah.
Bobby Simmons.
Right.
And a young kid now, he's playing in Chicago. Taylor Horton Tucker. So all those young men came after me from my high school in Chicago.
Let me see if I can remember this without looking at Google. You had a 50-point game. Was it against Chicago or was it against New Jersey?
Oh, yes, I had a 50-point game. But it was against the Nets the night Shaquille O'Neal
took down the Nets.
Yes.
That is right.
He took down the backboard and hit him on the shoulder, and he ran under the basket. But I did not start that game because I wasn't supposed to play. I had a pulled hamstring, and my teammate who started in front of me, Anthony Bowie, got in early foul trouble, and Coach Matty Gukas came to me and asked me if I could give him anything, and I gave him 50 in 33 minutes.
I know. It was tremendous. I still remember it. I'll never forget it. Chip Carey and Jack Goose Givens are announcing it that night. I'm watching it on the little TV, and we discover Shaq taking it down. He did it also again, I believe, but did it before against Phoenix.
Yes.
Did it against Phoenix. So you scored 50. And then, of course, you're known for having that big steal versus whether he's worth 23 or 45 against Michael Jordan there.
Can I lay the record straight?
Please do. Please do. Please do it.
The steal, in my opinion, and everybody has their own opinion.
Right.
The steal was against the greatest player that I ever played against.
Right.
And I say that with all respect due to all the other ball players that I played against.
Right.
Michael Jordan. Okay. I was asked after the game, because let's go back. 45 only had a short season.
Right.
23 played a full season.
Correct.
And they asked is 45 like 23? And I said, absolutely not. So it was twisted to, I was saying that, 45 would never be 23. 45 only had a half a season.
Right.
23 played a full season.
Right.
But it was twisted. Nick Anderson said 45 could never be. That's not what I said.
Right.
They asked me if 45 was 23, and I said never.
Right.
But I had to live with it.
Right.
And game 2, he came out with number 23 on.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And then the next year, you guys have 60 wins. But you have the buzzsaw of facing the Chicago Bulls with Dennis Rodman with 72 wins.
Okay. Now, they went in and got a Dennis Rodman.
Right.
Okay. 23 had a full season.
Yes.
He had training camp.
Yes.
So it's obvious that the 23 was better than the 45 because he had a full training camp. He had a full season.
Yeah.
45 did not have a full training camp, and he only had a half a season.
Yeah.
Can you guys give me a break?
Oh, well, yeah. And we'll give you a break on this show. We appreciate the time as always. I listen. I know it's a sore subject. Game 1, you're also known for the free throws.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take you to get over it?
It took a while, and I can say this, I don't care what sport or what you're doing. When you're doing something so hard at the level that you're competing and things don't go your way,
yeah,
it could take the air out of a balloon.
Yeah.
And it took the air out of me. But what I can say is I did my best.
You did.
That's all I can do.
You were a major part of why the Magic were there in the first place. And listen, at the end of the day, Hakeem Olajuwon, they had a great team. They had a great team. At the end of the day, you guys were young. I wish, I also wish that free agency didn't happen. I wish Shaq and Penny would have stayed together because I think you would have been able to compete for at least a couple more champs. Because I think, again, Jordan was in that era, but you guys gave him a run.
Yeah, we did. But I want folks, if you had the opportunity to go back and watch game 1 when we played the Houston Rockets in the final.
Yeah.
We were up 20-something points.
I know.
And we let that Houston Rockets team come back, and that happened during that game, late in the stages of the game.
Right.
And there's no excuse. I never throw a rock at a glass house and hide my hand.
Right.
It was unfortunate that happened for myself and my teammates. We didn't win that game. In game 2, we were up big too.
Yep.
But you can't take anything away from the Houston Rockets. You got a Hall of Famer in Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler. You got Mario Elliott. You got
Kenny Smith. Kenny the Jet.
Sam
Yes.
Cassell.
Yeah.
And Big Bob, Shot Bob. Making shots from everywhere.
Robert Horry.
You cannot take anything away from that Houston Rockets team. But just go on to this. Fast forward to game 1. OKC, Indiana.
Yes.
They up 17, 18, 20 points or whatever it may be.
Right.
They never stop fighting back. Tyrese Halliburton hits a shot.
Yeah.
Indiana goes in and win game 1 in OKC.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, and teams have to recover. And you guys, again, you had the big lead in game 2. And then after that, it was tough because once they get up 2-0 on you, then you got to go back to their house and you got to face their shooters. They were shooting lights out, and Hakeem was schooling Shaq because Shaq was young at that point. We're talking about this series. In your opinion, is it destiny to say that Indiana is going to win it just because of Halliburton and the way they've been able to be resilient, Nick, and come back, especially when it comes down to the fourth quarter and hit the big shot? Halliburton, maybe people don't consider him as a superstar, but I definitely think he's showing out as a superstar with the critical performances that he's put out there.
Is it easy to say that superstars show up?
Absolutely. Yes.
This kid is just not the OKC kid. He showed up.
The Knicks. Yes. Doing his best Reggie Miller impression. Yeah.
You know, you can't. You have to let sleeping dogs sleep.
Right.
I mean, they woke him up.
Yes.
And he woke up at the right time. So you talked about the series. 1 game to nothing. The Pacers.
Yeah.
OKC is tough. They have been tough all year
Right.
long. Number 1 in defense.
Right.
And they right there in scoring. You got the MVP on the team in SGA.
Yeah.
You got great support cast.
Correct.
In OKC.
Yes.
You know, you can't take away the Williams, Holmgreen, the rest of those guys. You have a great supporting cast. I will be surprised if tonight's game OKC don't bounce back in a big way.
If they don't bounce back, is the series and I hate to say that, but it would be in trouble because you lose 2 at home, and then that's your home court advantage. You talked about the women's game, and I know you've got to go, but I love talking basketball with you, Nick. Anytime, let me give you my card really quick. Anytime you want to come on and talk, but you talk about the women's game, the rivalry right now between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. What do you make of that? Do you think the league should embrace Caitlin Clark more than what they have? What do you make of this whole situation?
Why wouldn't you embrace her?
You would think.
Why wouldn't you? What she's done in her early career, why wouldn't you embrace that?
Right.
You want to see rivals like that, players going against each other like that, but you keep it within the confinements of the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You would want it boosts everything.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. You have to get credit when it's due. Caitlin Clark is a player to go see.
Right.
She's just not the player that's on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go see LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go see Caitlin Clark. Let's give her just due.
Right.
She's living up to the bill.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with Caitlin Clark? I like her.
I like her too. I don't know. And again, it's Angel Reese, and I think Angel Reese has her game. She's not necessarily the best scorer. She is a rebounder. She has to work on that, but it just seems like they really want to build that rivalry up, much like I think Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Do you think they can do that?
They can do that.
Okay.
It can be that rival. You know, and I'm speaking of Caitlin Clark, and no disrespect to Angel Reese. I think she's a good player for what she does.
Right.
But Caitlin Clark, I want to see the attitude.
I do too.
What's wrong with having a little attitude?
Nothing wrong with it.
Out there playing. And
right.
I respect her. If she's ever down this way and I can go and see her,
right,
I'm going to see Caitlin Clark.
Exactly. All right, Nick. Appreciate the time, my friend. Definitely, Nick Anderson. Anything you want to promote here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television?
I always got to talk about my Orlando Magic and all the fans around Central Florida, right there in Orlando.
Yeah,
I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that was given back then and the opportunity that is given today. I tell all the young athletes, especially the athletes, but anything you're doing, be appreciative of it.
Yes.
Embrace it, because it don't have to always be that way.
Right.
You know, if you don't want it, there's somebody else out there that does.
Mm-hmm.
Respect the game, have fun, and let's. Hey.
Well, I can say as a Magic fan, and for Magic fans out there, we were very appreciative of your play and when you were a part of this organization and still a part of this organization today, my friend.
Well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Nick Anderson right there. Great Nick Anderson of the Orlando Magic on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I tell you right now, man, I wish you were still playing. I really do. I wish you were playing for this Magic team, because you would be perfect in your prime. I still think you could do it. I still think you could shoot threes. And that's exactly what this Magic team needs right now. It's exactly what they need. They need somebody who could shoot from three, score at will, to help those kids out.
Thank you. One last thing I want to say.
Go for it.
The younger players, don't run from the competition, run to it.
Thank you. Can we have that era back? The whole recruiting process of superstars never would happen in your era.
No, it's different times. I guess you have to adjust to what's going on, but never be scared to compete against the best. I don't care what you're doing in life and business and sports. hey, I want what they call it, what they say today, the younger generation. I want that smoke.
Right. There you go.
I want it.
Right. We want all the smoke here on the Evolution. All right, Nick Anderson, Orlando Magic, great. Appreciate the time, my friend. All right.
Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Good luck. Look at that. I mean, guys, if you didn't appreciate that interview right there, thank you, guys. I appreciate you right there on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I mean, that's what you get here. I mean, it's not just all football talk. We got some Orlando Magic. I don't know if you knew this, but I grew up as an Orlando Magic fan. So I watched that guy, and he could play, and he could shoot lights out, and that's exactly what the Magic need. They need a guy that can create his own shot, can shoot for three, and help Banchero and help Franz Wagner out with this team building it up. All right, we'll continue to take your phone calls. We'll go back to the Levante David interview in just a moment as we get some more interviews and people on here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. So let's see. Let's go. We'll read the rest of these comments, and then we'll go back to Levante David there. Let's see. Christopher, I don't really think that's the case when it comes to middle linebacker, DL, and safety groups. Middle linebacker is bad. It was last year, no improvement at DL. We got worse at safety, too. I don't think you got worse at safety with adding Tyke Smith. I think Tyke Smith was a playmaker. He showed he was a playmaker last year, and he's going to get that opportunity. To how you doing? He's going to get that opportunity now to show out that he can make plays. And Todd Bowles talked about it. He wants to be on the field, more than he was. And I think that's a credit. I think that's a safety improvement. DL, I've made no mistake about it. Getting a guy, and he's not just a guy, he's a player who's done it in the league. 59 sacks, double-digit sacker. He's done it. We're not talking about some guy off the street. We're not talking about some rookie. He's done it. Hassan Reddick has done it. He wants to earn a second contract. You get these kids. You've got Kalijah Cansey. We talked to him yesterday. You've got Yaya Diaby. You've got Vita Vea. You got Anthony Nelson, who we forget about. Listen, Bucs fans, can't forget about Anthony Nelson. You forget about Anthony Nelson, you lose against the Carolina Panthers and most likely are not in the playoffs. So the depth is there. There is improvement there, in my opinion. I disagree with you, Realtor David Zuzman, but that's okay. That's what we do here. Open phone lines if you want to call up, talk about anything that we've been discussing today here on the Evolution. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Plenty of Gator fans walking around today as they're excited. They see their starting quarterback there. Bucs leveled up the depth at middle linebacker and DL. If Dennis stays healthy, we're going to have a great year. Agree. I think that great comment right there.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
Let's go out to Pitch Grid Pod. Parrish is an underrated part of their secondary. Christopher Cole, watch out for the two middle linebackers undrafted out of Iowa and Nebraska. Definitely. Let's see. Hi, Peter. Another good show today from my old stomping grounds. Appreciate you, Marine. Absolutely. Let me go out to Ukrainian Poppy Farmer, or Barclay is the best dog. Can you have Stuttering John on again? Your interview was epic. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's go out. Great interview. Thank you, Christopher Cole. I mean, listen, anytime you get a player like Nick Anderson, and I remember, I am a kid in a candy store, right? Like, I'm a Tampa Bay sports fan. I'm a Central Florida sports fan. I grew up on the Orlando Magic. I grew up when they were bad. They're a lot like the Bucs. They're an expansion team. They didn't win many games, and then they get Shaq. But they had Nick. Nick started out with them. He was the highlight of watching the Orlando Magic on some nights. They were on Sunshine Network. We watched that team together. Matt Gukas coached that team. You had Scotty Skiles, and I remember Nick Anderson. So, talking basketball with an Orlando Magic legend, and they're trying to get, they were trying to get me out. I know he wanted to talk and wanted to continue to talk, and we would have allowed him to talk, but he had to run. You get that opportunity. I always tell people out there, you get the opportunity to talk to athletes, listen to them. Don't just talk. Listen to what they say and try to add to the conversation. And that's what we do here on the Sports Web. Thank you, Christopher Cole. Appreciate you as always. This is awesome to listen to. Thank you, Pitch Grid Pod. I appreciate that. Love watching the Magic back then, and I hope you love watching the Magic now, because I definitely think, and it's tough. It's a tough game to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. The NBA is a different game. It's predicated on the three. There's not a lot of defensive mentality. There's not the physicality, if you will, when it comes to the game. It's disappointing. It really is. But besides that, I think Orlando's got two superstars there. I do. I think Banchero and Wagner are worth the price of admission. If Jalen Suggs can stay healthy, who knows? Maybe this team, maybe they make a move. Maybe it is time to make a move. You heard Nick. Is it time to make the move? I'll believe it when I see it. As we've heard it the last couple of years. Is it time to make that move? Is it time? Remember, when the Magic got to a certain point, they were a young team that needed to get a veteran. They got Horace Grant. Is it time to make a move for a Horace Grant to take them to the next level? We shall see with this Magic team as we talk Magic on this show. Maybe not as much as we should. Maybe not as much as I would like, but we do. And anytime we get Nick Anderson on, who knows? Gave him the card. Maybe he'll come back on again and talk with us. Ed Ero, Peter, love the show, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. We'll see you at Policy Scout tomorrow. And Pitch Grid Pod, what is a player you say is underrated coming into Bucks training camp? Overrated. Underrated. Underrated player for this team. It's a good question. You know, a lot of people talk about Savassier. I'm going to go with underrated. Even though they're talking about him, nobody really expects anything out of him. I think Savassier Dennis is a player that is underrated. Overrated, I don't know. Overrated player, I think I don't know. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a little bit. With that being said, let's go back out to Levante David. We could get some more guests on here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, but let's go out to Levante David. I know you want to hear from him, so let's go to him now. Let's talk about also evolution and how this organization has gone from, just being an afterthought to now being a place that people want to be. Yeah. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr. Talk about that evolution a little bit.
Yeah, man, we came a long way as an organization. Came a long way, when Jason was a part of that turnaround. Those guys had a plan. They kind of revitalized things of who they wanted to come around, who they wanted to be in the building and stuff like that. And obviously, the big jump was adding Tom, obviously, but I feel like we had some of the guys already in the building to make that change. But he was an added jump for us. And then going forward, man, just adding guys who have that dog mentality, guys who want to win football games, guys who want to work, and keeping guys like me, Will Golston, Mike Evans, a lot of the older guys around to kind of like continue to build that foundation of what we want as football players. You got Chris Godwin, everybody, you got guys who gonna go in and put in the work and give you 100% effort out there on Sundays. You're talking about Tom Brady. Give us the perspective from Levante David. We heard about the Tom Brady effect. What's the Tom Brady effect in your perspective? Yeah, just a mentality. It's just a mentality. You know what you're capable of, and you just know what you expect. You want to be great. You got to go out there and play like it. And when he came in, man, it's crazy to say, but like he raised everybody's level of play and changed everybody's mindset. And then ever since then, that's something that I kind of like adapted to, and that's something that I tried to keep, and that's something that I want to, sprinkle on the younger guys. And a lot of guys on our team now kind of got a chance to, feel that too as well. So guys like Tristan, his rookie year, and guys like Antoine Winfield, Jamel Dean, a lot of those guys got a chance to, see how it feels. So we want to kind of like keep that same mentality and put it on the young guys who come up. Go back to that 2020 year. How much did it mean to you? Because there were so many losing seasons with this Buccaneer organization. What did it mean to you to win the Super Bowl, winning in your own house? Man, it was everything, man. It was everything. It's hard to describe, just everything throughout that whole process was just incredible. Just thinking back from, the dog days, being here to the 2-14 season, to the blowout games, and to the fans bashing us, things like that, man. All that, just came around full circle, and it just felt like a weight was lifted off me. And the thing that I really loved about all that was just, every single one of my teammates came up to me and told me like it was for me. And for them to do that and stuff like that, that was very, incredible to feel, and for me to be the captain out there on the Super Bowl, that was an incredible feeling, man. I wouldn't change that moment for nothing.
We're on with Levante David, in my opinion, future Hall of Famer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm your host, Peter Blake, on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds for the Expo here. You talked about the young guys, Sebastian Dennis. How excited are you about this? I think he's the X factor for this defense. Well, tell the fans and tell everybody out there how excited you are about Mr. Sebastian Dennis.
I'm very excited about Voss, man. You guys should be excited about him too. You've seen the stuff that he put on tape already, the times that he did get a chance to play. Unfortunately, he did have some injuries, but he's a motivated guy, a smart guy, and a playmaker. In our linebacker room, we call ourselves playmakers. We not just linebackers, we want to be playmakers, and he's one of those guys that can make plays for us. And he's definitely motivated and ready to go for the season. And we're gonna see how this thing goes.
You're gonna definitely see how this thing goes. Talk about Walker Jr. from Miami. You had some emphasis on this. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, my boy A-Walk, man. I knew A-Walk for a while. We kind of like grew up in the same crowd. One of his mentors is Sean Spence, one of my closest friends, and we kind of built the relationship from there. And since he's been drafted, we always stayed in touch, and we hang out back home. Just those Miami ties. And I know the Bucs was looking for a linebacker, and he was available. So I say gave him a little nudge. That's all I did. Gave him a little nudge. You got a guy who can play the game the right way, and a guy who can contribute to us defensively, and another veteran guy who can help us out tremendously, and he's one of those guys for sure. So, our room is kind of stacked. We got some guys who played, great football with Deion Jones, Anthony Walker, me, and then you got obviously Sebastian Dennis, you got AG, you got a couple of rookies in there who's looking really well from what I see. So definitely some playmaking to look forward to.
Absolutely, you're a soft-spoken guy. What's the recruiting pitch to Jason Light for Walker?
The recruiting pitch?
Yeah, what is it? What do you say? What do you say to Jason Light?
Honestly, what I say?
Yeah.
Hey, we got a guy who's from Miami, so what we talk, we know what we about. So you might well pick him up, So there you have it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. We'll get you out of here because I know you got to run, but we appreciate the time here on the Evolution. What would it mean to surpass Derrick Brooks? Because he's considered by a lot of Bucs fans to be the greatest linebacker of all. I think you're 1B at this point. I think Hardy Nickerson's definitely in that conversation. Talk about it. What would it mean for you to surpass Derrick Brooks for tackles for that record for the Bucs?
Honestly, I can't even. I don't even know right now because it's like it's been brought up to me obviously plenty of times, and it's possible, and it's hard for me to fathom. Just because how much Derrick mean to me playing linebacker position, and then what he means to the organization, and then just me knowing him as a person, it's kind of hard to understand that it's possible to happen.
Yeah.
Just because of what he done for the game of football and what he done for the linebacker position for guys like myself. So it's kind of hard to think about it, but if that moment comes, it's probably gonna be tears in my eyes. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but it's definitely be an incredible moment for me for sure. And if it does happen, man, I hope he's there so we can celebrate together for sure.
Talk about Todd Bowles and the impact he's made on your career, your playing career, and what he makes on this defense, because it seems like there's a lot of disrespect. We heard a report today from Mike Florio saying, Bill, I'm like, no, Todd Bowles, man, believe in Todd Bowles and what he's been able to do here the last 4 years to win the NFC South. Why doesn't he get more respect? What kind of impact he's made on you, and why doesn't he get more respect?
I don't know, man. I don't know why he don't get a lot of respect. I remember when we won the Super Bowl, I made an emphasis to give him a shout out and give him his flowers because I know what he does. I know the work that he's put in. I know the position that he put us in to make plays. You know what I'm saying? And that whole playoff run, Coach Bowles won those games, so I don't know, why he don't get this respect or whatever. But maybe people just different. People don't like, I guess, his demeanor when he's.
All right, let's cut this short here. We got another guest coming on here. You got to love this. You got to absolutely love the fact that you're getting on NBA guest on with us. Let's go out to this man right here. Great Laker, Seattle Supersonic. As you sit down, hopefully we are. Let's see here. There we go. Well, I think we're good with that. Let's see. There we go. All right. Mr. Sam Perkins, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Go ahead, put those. Yeah, you get closer. Put those put those headphones on. Yeah, the seat is a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. So we're on live here on the Sports Web with Sam Perkins, former Laker Supersonic. As you getting ready to put your headphones on there. Welcome to the Evolution, my friend. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just get closer to that mic just a little bit. There we go. Right there. You're out here at the Expo, of course, former Laker. I guess I got to start out there. Do you think the Lakers can turn this around? Do you still watch the LA Lakers and the NBA in general?
I watch games, period, regardless.
Yeah?
I kind of have my favorites, but I still watch every team just to see what they're doing.
Who are your favorites?
Lakers, Warriors.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Okay.
OKC.
Yeah.
And since I'm in Dallas, I got to go with Dallas as well.
When that trade happened, what was the reaction in Dallas? What was the reaction from you? Because Luka, obviously, he's a superstar to a certain degree. I say to a certain degree because what a lot of people say is he's not fully committed. He's not in shape. He doesn't play enough defense. Would you agree with that assessment? What was the reaction like with that? And then what is your assessment of that trade in general?
Well, I don't know what he does in the offseason, but I think he definitely doesn't play defense.
Right. Does anybody in the NBA these days play defense?
Not really. Maybe Kawhi.
Right.
Maybe Kawhi.
Right.
Kyrie. But overall, I think that trade was like shocking. Like you woke up like when that time when Hillary lost and we woke up and Trump had to lead or something like that. That's what it felt like.
Right.
Like it was like an upset.
I thought somebody was trolling me. I thought it was a troll post, because it was a fake news or something like that.
Yes. And so with that said, it was like people were like didn't eat for days.
Right.
They had protests. They had coffins in the street.
Right.
And things of that nature. So I mean, really, it was one of those things where you just couldn't believe it was like surreal. It's like you wake up like I'm still asleep.
Right.
Pinch me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and then Dallas to get Anthony Davis. He's talented, but he's not able to stay healthy. I mean, you watch Dallas. Can they turn that thing around with Flag as the number 1 overall pick? Can they turn it around in your opinion?
Well, Flag is a great player.
Right.
I'm not taking nothing from him, but the thing is that he has to, get acclimated with his teammates.
Right.
Kyrie has to come back strong from injury, and that's going to be latter part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Anthony Davis, you got questions there. I really think he's a good player, but injuries, like I've never heard of the injuries that he gets sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. And then all of a sudden now the coach might disappear to the Knicks.
Yeah, well, which is crazy in itself because let's talk about Thibodeau. Yeah. Unfairly fired in your opinion?
Unfairly. I really thought he's one of the guys that play defense. And the thing about it, he has his guys ready for the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see him,
right,
he's nothing short but trying to win a game. And the thing is, I really did like him for the Knicks. I wish they used his bench a little bit more,
right?
Just to give some guys some time, some breather. But he wore them thin, and the Knicks showed it. And they're young enough; they could have done it, but. I really thought that they were on fumes sometimes.
What are they missing, in your opinion?
Power forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. They missing somebody like a Kevin Durant, a small forward.
He could be out there as a trade guy. I mean, is that somebody that you would trade for if you're the Knicks, Kevin Durant?
I would definitely go for him.
Okay.
Because that's the thing. I think that's the situation Kevin likes.
Right.
New York, the stage, the camaraderie of New York, the team. But you're going to have to give something up to get him.
Right.
If they trade him.
Correct. Which is always a difficult thing. We're on with NBA great Sam Perkins, Lakers, Seattle. We talked a little bit about the Lakers there. Want to respond about with because you played on the 82 team, national championship team for the North Carolina Tar Heels with Michael Jordan.
Correct.
And still people will sit there and say LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Can you Can you talk about this a little? Because you played with them. You played with Michael Jordan. So where do you lie on this? I always have to ask NBA players this because fans, we talk about it when it comes to the NBA. Who's the greatest of all time, Sam Perkins? Is it LeBron James or is it Michael Jordan?
Okay, between those two,
yes,
it's going to be Michael Jordan.
Okay.
But the greatest of all time is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Wow. Okay, well, go ahead and expound on that a little bit.
I mean, Kareem is at every level. I mean, even I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And he was at the time Luau Sender at Power Memorial.
Okay.
And each time he went out there from Power Memorial to UCLA to the pros, he's been nothing but superior among his peers.
Right.
And when I got to the pros, I only played 1 year against him. I couldn't move him.
Couldn't move him at all.
I mean, he was consistent with that hook shot, nothing to it. And I really think that they forget him because he only has the sky hook.
Right.
So with Michael and LeBron and some of these other guys, you see a flashiness of like everybody likes the moves and the creativity.
Right.
But Kareem was always steady.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, I mean, he led the league in scoring for a long time.
He did.
To LeBron. So I really think that Kareem, then Jordan, and then a couple other guys before
Kobe.
LeBron.
Kobe in that also?
Kobe's in there too. Larry Bird.
Okay.
And I put Larry Bird in there because...
Why they sleep on Larry Bird, by the way? It's like they've forgotten about what Larry Bird did for the game. Not only from three, not only from mid-range jump shot, but he was physical. He could play defense, right, Sam?
Well, as you get older, people lose some chromosomes.
I guess so.
So with that said, I've never seen one guy play a whole game left-handed. I don't know if you know that, but Larry Bird...
I did not.
Larry Bird played he told whoever it was, Atlanta or whoever it was, that we was going to play the game all left-handed. Now, he's a right-handed dude.
Right.
So he played the game. He shot nothing but left-handed shots and scored like 20-something points. You got to look it up. People, you got to look it up.
Yeah. I definitely will have to look that up because he did some amazing things in his career, as you did. You played for that national championship Tar Heel team. Talk about that. You played with, by the way, believe James Worthy, Jordan, yourself, and of course the great Dean Smith. So go back and talk about that team in general, how special they were during that time.
Well, if I got time,
you got plenty of time. You got all the time you want to, Sam Perkins. You're on the Sports Web. You want to sit here and you want to talk basketball for the next 30 to 45 minutes, my friend, you're more than welcome to do it.
Well, I'm just saying because it's set up. We lost to Indiana in 1981.
Right.
And Isaiah Thomas. And
Bobby Knight. Right.
And that's the night where things went a little curvy, shaky with the president being shot.
Right.
They didn't know if they was going to continue the game, but they did. But the point was we lost, but we came back the next year, and we wanted to win it for Dean Smith. Now, that monkey grew to a gorilla on his back because he was always close. And so we had a senior by the name of Jimmy Black, who was always instrumental in us in our fortitude with playing. And we all said let's get this win. So through the trial and error, we had to face Houston.
Yeah.
5 Slammer Jam at the time.
Hakeem and I'm trying to think.
Drexler.
Yeah, Clyde Drexler. Yep.
And Michael Young, Mishaw, and all them guys. And then the finale was John Thompson and Pat Ewing, Georgetown. And so with that said, we were very fortunate to win that game because you saw at the end, Fred Brown threw it to Worthy by actually whatever. I don't know what transpired to make him throw it. But Worthy was out of position, and I guess he thought he was one of his teammates. But that game was like nothing but tight. It was a good game to be involved in and to win.
Right.
But at the same time, it was a good win for the program, Dean Smith, Eddie Fogler, and Bill Guttridge, and for us, it was one of those things where we'll never forget because it was a sold-out Superdome, I think.
I believe you're correct about that. Yes.
60,000 people.
It's crazy.
So that's what it made it so special.
Yeah.
And I always remember that.
You always remember Dean Smith as a coach. Talk about him being coached by him. Do we have to run here? Or are we good? We good? Okay. Well, Dean Smith as a coach, how much of an impact did he make on your career?
Yeah, he was one of these guys that there's a reason why I went to Carolina. I mean, I had great opportunities to go elsewhere like UCLA, Syracuse,
right?
Even Maryland, Notre Dame, but he was the only one that talked about school and education. And he knew my family history for some reason, apparent reason. He knew that I would be the first to graduate in my family,
right,
with a degree.
Right.
With all that said, I mean, I really took heart to those words, and it was the best 4 years of my my college career and growing up, because he treated us like regular people, and he talked to us as a mentor, as players first. I mean, students first, players second, and that's what we really liked it. And we had 13, different people with different backgrounds, and we came together and made it special.
Talk about the game today. You watch it. Could Sam Perkins play in this game today? Because it's a lot of predicated on the three. You were a pretty good shooter from the three. You also have size and athleticism in your heyday. You think you could play in this NBA? What do you think about the game today, compared to what you played in, where it was more, in my opinion, more physical, more mid-range, today's game?
Well, as you mentioned, it was very physical in my era.
Right.
Not in my era, but the era I played in. But at the same
your
time,
era, come on, your era.
At the same time, today's era is more with athleticism, and I don't know if we will switch all the time and run less plays and shoot threes.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if I could play in this except for shoot threes, but then everybody's shooting threes, so it's not a real commodity. It's not a specialization
at this point, right?
There's no real reason why I would be stuck shooting threes like everybody else. I mean, when I played, I shot threes because we had centers like Robinson, Olajuwon, Eaton, and Vade, and I mean people like that.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing, they always ran to the hoop.
Right.
So our coaches, instilled that plays where just have me trail.
Yeah.
So with all that, it was different. But today's game is a whole different. It's a young team, young game now.
Sam, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, my friend. It's good to meet you. Thanks a lot for coming on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. There's my card. Anytime you want to chop it up and talk some NBA, I'm more than welcome, my friend. All right?
All right, Ben. I'm going to keep you to that.
All right. Sounds good, my friend. Sam Perkins, NBA great. Lakers and Seattle Supersonics here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, man. Just the great in himself. 82 national champion for the North Carolina Tar Heel basketball team, my friend. Great stuff there from Sam Perkins, and he's still tall. He's still taller than me. So, I don't know about that. All right, there you go, Sam Perkins, right there from the Lakers and the Seattle Supersonics. So there we go. All right, there. We'll bring it back here to we'll see with some comments here, and then we'll bring it back to Levante David really quick. Let's see. Underrated Etienne. We interviewed him, so we will definitely get that interview on throughout the week. Interviewed Christian Etienne, talked about the back end and the improvement of what they could provide this year in 2025. So we'll get that out there. Fair enough. We'll definitely keep an eye out. What do you think about Giannis to New York? The cap is an issue. Cap is an issue, but it has been talked about. Does Giannis want to go to that situation? Will he have control of the coach? Because Thibodeau is gone. They got the talent there, but if you get a superstar these days, more than likely, they're going to have some say when it comes to the coach. And again, cap is an issue. Or go to Toronto. I don't know about that. Happy Sunday, Peter Blake and the Sports Web. Appreciate you, boss. Let's go out to Pitch Grid Pod right there. What are your thoughts on Halliburton in his current run? It's been amazing. I mean, what can you say about what has not been said? The guy is clutch. He is a killer. He's got the killer instinct. This team does not give up. And I feel like it is somewhat destiny, even though they have the MVP of the league there with Alexander. I feel like they do. I think it's destiny. I think the Indiana Pacers win the NBA championship, and Halliburton is definitely a main reason why, because of his clutch shooting, doing his best Reggie Miller impression, especially in the fourth quarter. Pitch Grid says, great interview. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And I know we don't usually always talk NBA, but when you get NBA superstars here, you got to take advantage of it, and that's what we do. Let's go back out to Levante David to finish off this interview. We'll come back. We'll take some more phone calls. What do you care about? Mandatory minicamp starts on Tuesday, but here's Levante David here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy the rest of the interview.
See a whole different guy, in the meeting rooms, man, and everybody loves him. He's very, a funny guy. Yeah. Loves cracking jokes. Very a player's person. He's definitely a player's coach, and everybody loves him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he don't get the credit that he deserves, man. But we definitely gonna put on for him this year.
You gave something away there. You said he was winning the playoff games. Go back to that a little bit. Kind of expound on that a little bit. Give me something.
Yeah, man. That little stretch that we had. Washington was a little hiccup or whatever, but we played the Saints and we played Green Bay. Yeah. And then in the Super Bowl, man, defense wins championships. So we definitely got it done. Coach Bowles came in with great game plans and kind of like added to our mentality, and we felt this energy when we was out there. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely did it for him that season.
I asked Devin Hester this a couple of years ago before the Super Bowl, the night before the Super Bowl, if he was a Hall of Famer. He said, what do you think? I'm going to ask you. Levante David, you're a Hall of Famer? And why are you a Hall of Famer?
Man, like you always say, man, I'm a humble guy. But, I just got to, get out of my comfort zone. I do feel like I'm a Hall of Fame player, even though the accolades don't show. But everything else does. Everything that what it takes to be a Hall of Fame player, I have that. Tackles, sacks, forced fumbles, tackles for loss, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, for what I do on the field, I feel like it's Hall of Fame worthy. But, I leave that up to the judges and stuff like that to, figure that stuff out. But nonetheless, man, I'm blessed to play this game. I'm very happy that I got a chance to play this game at a great organization. And every day, man, I give God the glory.
Love it. Levante David, thanks a lot for joining me here on the Evolution. I want you to do me one favor, because we always say this on the Sports Web. You got to say, bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. You got to do it as loud as you are on the field. Gotcha. Not that soft-spoken guy. Come on, do it.
What is it?
Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Bring your passion. Bring excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Winner, chicken dinner right there. Levante David, future Hall of Fame linebacker, in my opinion, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution, all right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, man. Oh, absolutely. We're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do, what you got in store with this defense, because I'll tell you right now, this guy right here, he's playing at the top level. Here's my card, too. Anytime you want to come on the show, let me know, all right? We'll get you on. Levante David right there, guys. All right, so there you go. We'll come back there after that interview on Friday night. Good stuff. Pitch Grid Pod says crazy that game was the lowest rated game won since 1988. Wow. So NBA, it is the cities, that's crazy. 88 and Indiana between OKC was a good, entertaining game, but I guess people just don't care. They don't care about it. So disappointing to say the least. All right. I think we're going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up with Tristan Wirfs' interview. The guests, I think, are done for the day at this point. We'll get an update. We'll see if we'll get anybody else. But we had Nick Anderson on today. We had Sam Perkins on today. We're looking forward to maybe getting the quarterback for the Gators, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But let's go out to a guy who was on here also, who started off the interviews. That would be Tristan Wirfs here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy this. It's going on. Tristan, we are talking Bucks football here with Tristan Wirfs. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television right there, my friend. It's great. Listen, it's great to meet you.
Good to meet you.
We're a big fan of you here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television live from the Tampa Expo. And just talk about you were part of this event just a couple of days ago. Pediatric cancer. Talk about this event and being involved once again with Baker Mayfield. Welcome to the Evolution.
Yeah, no, this is incredible. Just being able to give back in any way we can. Sorry for that.
That's
just
okay.
Being able to give back in any way we can, and a special event like this is even cooler. I mean, we got Levante David down there. Like it's incredible. So being able to do this and give back in any sort of way is great.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's absolutely, giving back. This is what I believe this team is all about. This is the credit that Jason Licht deserves with getting players like yourself, getting players like Baker Mayfield, getting a guy like Mike Evans. That was a big part of you re-signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right, Tristan?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I mean, that's what Jason does. Like, they want to get good guys, and, I think that's what we all strive to be. You named off some incredible people, Levante David, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield. Like, those guys are top tier guys, top tier players, top tier human beings. So that's why guys want to stay here. That's why guys want to come here. I mean, it's a great organization. Tampa's an incredible place to be, and the players here are incredible.
Yeah, they are incredible, and I think there's some incredible expectations, and it certainly seems like there may be a bad taste in your mouth. Baker's talked about it. Some players have talked about it. Do you get that sense? Because there's been a lot of participation and OTAs, you and Baker joking around. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't end the season how we wanted to. There's only one team that's happy at the end of the year, but we know we can get close, and we just gotta get over that hump and get a little more than we need. But no, we're excited. We got a lot of guys here at OTAs. I'm still in the weight room there watching them, early on.
I see you, big man.
Yeah,
you're big.
Thank you.
You got him big, and I know Baker was asking you yesterday. What do you, or a couple days ago? What are you trying to look for? You're trying to be the protector of the year.
Yeah.
How does that sound, Tristan Wirfs?
That's pretty cool. It's a shout out to Deion Dawkins for pushing for that award. A bunch of guys are pushing for an award for the big guys up front, but that's so fun that we have something like that. That we can, strive for and get after and have a little competition between ourselves. So it'll be that's really fun. That's really cool.
We're on with Tristan Wirfs, offensive lineman. I believe, in my opinion, the best left tackle here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Your Rolex reporter. Is it crazy to think that you're going into your 6th year in the National Football League, and you started out, and just go back to this. You started out your rookie year protecting the great Tom Brady. Talk about that experience and how you got introduced to the National Football League by Mr. Brady himself.
Yeah, I mean, coming in and having 12 back there is a daunting task, But he supported me the whole time, the whole 3 years I was with him. Just wanted me to feel comfortable, but at the same time, like I had his back 24/7. I was doing everything I could to protect him and keep him upright. And then now going to Baker, trying to do the same thing. Baker's my boy. Everybody knows that. I'll go to war for him.
What's the comparison between Brady and Baker? Tell the fans out there, because Brady's kind of what Brady's like the main competitor. Baker's the same way.
Yeah.
What's the main comparison with both of those quarterbacks?
I think their competitiveness. I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to compare those two guys. It really is. But I think their competitiveness. I mean, Tom's an ultimate competitor. Baker's an ultimate competitor. They go out there and fight for their teammates, week in, week out, and it's incredible to watch. It's really fun. I think I got to get out there.
You got to get out there.
Get out there.
All right, Tristan Wirfs, thanks a lot for coming on the Sports Web right there. All right, so there you go, Tristan Wirfs. Not too bad. Not too bad of a weekend, I got to tell you. It's not been too bad of a weekend here at the Tampa Card Expo, live from the Florida State Fairgrounds. Lots of guests today, lots of guests yesterday. We'll put all that content on the YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to it. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps the show, and I do appreciate the responses. I appreciate all the views and all the likes and all the follows. That's why we're able to do a show like this. They wanted us to come out, and they thought that this would be something special, and it absolutely has turned into something special with all the celebrities and guests that we've got on here. Now, Zach Jarvis says, see all those boxes? They have UPS labels on them. Yep, I delivered them. Well, good for you, my friend. Good for you. I think we are just going to end off the show today. Thanks a lot to, of course, the great Nick Anderson of the Orlando Magic, a former Orlando Magic player, Sam Perkins, Lakers, and Seattle. And, of course, all your calls, all your text messages. It means a lot to me, as always. Again, we will be back on, we'll come back, I think, on Wednesday. I think that's when we're going to come back on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake, and do 3 things for me as we end off the weekend on a great note. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we always say on this show, to end it off on the right note, go Bucks.